Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, we've got a wildly fascinating and honestly pretty unprecedented situation to unpack today. Literally just weeks before the massive Google I/O developer conference in 2026, Google did something, well, weird. They dropped a highly secretive, brand new experimental app right onto the public Google Play Store. No big announcement, no beta test, just a total absolute accident. And it gave us an unfiltered, wide open look straight into the future of Android.
Which obviously begs the question, what exactly happens when Google accidentally leaks its own future? Well, yesterday, an app simply called Cosmo popped up on the Play Store. Now, it was only live for a blip, just long enough for some incredibly eagle-eyed tech journalists at 9 to 5 Google to snatch it up, dig deep into the code, and map out the whole thing before Google realized their mistake and yanked it down. But, the internet is forever. That digital footprint, it's out there.
Section 1. The Accidental AI Leak. A digital treasure chest.
Okay, let's dive right into this thing. When you actually open this app, which, by the way, has the package name com.google.research.air.cosmo, telling us it came straight from the labs at Google Research, you just see a super basic, bare-bones chat interface. But the download size? That is our first massive red flag that there is absolutely nothing simple about Cosmo. 1.13 gigabytes. To put that into perspective, your average messaging app is just a tiny fraction of that size, right? We're talking mere megabytes. So you've got to wonder, what on earth is eating up over a gigabyte of space on your phone?
Well, the answer is actually hiding right in the official description that Google briefly published. It says, Cosmo brings the power of artificial intelligence directly onto your device. So that massive 1.13 gigabyte file isn't just bloated, messy code, it's actually housing an entire localized AI model, specifically a local Gemini Nano model. This means Cosmo isn't just pinging a cloud server somewhere, it literally downloaded the AI's brain right onto your phone's actual hardware.
Section 2. Under Cosmo's hood, fulfillment models. To really grasp how revolutionary this setup is, we have to look at a settings page hidden deep inside the app. It brings us to Cosmo's fulfillment models. Basically, that's just a fancy term for the back-end system the app uses to process your requests and spit out those AI responses. And Google actually baked 3 specific options into this testbed.
The first two options are complete opposites. On one hand, you've got PI only, which relies entirely on a server. Now, PI is still a bit of a mystery acronym, but it's pretty clearly your traditional, old-school cloud approach. Data goes out to some massive server farm, gets crunched, and comes back. Then, on the other hand, we have Nano only, and this one cuts the cord completely. It uses that massive 1.13 gigabyte local model to generate answers right there on your device. Zero internet required. None.
But the third option is where the real magic happens. It's the hybrid model. And honestly, this perfectly illustrates how the future of AI on our phones is going to work. The system is built to try the online server first, that PM model, whenever you have a strong connection, so it can tap into all that limitless cloud computing power. But let's say you lose signal. You step into an elevator or you switch on airplane mode. Boom. It instantly seamlessly falls back to the offline local Nano model. You probably wouldn't even notice the switch.
Section 3. Unpacking the new skills. 14 glimpses of the future. Now, what's really interesting about all this is that a powerful local AI is kind of useless if it doesn't actually do anything for you, right? Luckily, the leak gave us a crystal clear look at exactly what Google is testing out. To make sense of the 14 distinct capabilities inside Cosmo, I've chunked them into 4 main groups. First up, productivity and task skills. List Tracker automatically suggests Google Keep List based on whatever you're doing. Add Timer actually listens for time-sensitive stuff in your conversations and pops up to create a clock timer. And Calendar Event Suggester is wild. If you're chatting with a friend and agree to meet up at, say, 8 p.m., Cosmo proactively jumps in and offers to just throw it on your calendar. We're moving away from an assistant you have to command to one that actually anticipates what you need before you even ask.
Moving on to our second group, content and research skills. The document writer can draft up letters or summarize a bunch of info straight into a document. The Google It and jargon definition skills handle super quick web searches and break down confusing acronyms on the fly. But the absolute standout here, deep research. Let's say you're talking about something super complex that needs a ton of sources. Cosmo will literally offer to run a full, multi-source research report on the topic for you. It's almost like having a dedicated research analyst living right inside your pocket. Then we have the third group, which is all about Cosmo's context and memory skills. There's a recall feature that digs up things you're actively struggling to remember. It's got conversation summary, which will automatically sum up a chat that just ended, so if you get distracted, you never lose the thread. Plus, people understanding and event understanding pull deep background context on exactly who or what you're interacting with. And Provide Insight just throws out ideas to fuel your curiosity. It literally builds a memory of your entire digital life. That is huge.
Our fourth and final grouping is utility and automation. Quick photo lookup is an absolute game changer for everyday stuff. If you mention a photo you took and you want to share it right in the middle of a chat, Cosmo just finds it for you. No more awkwardly pausing the conversation to go scroll through thousands of thumbnails in your gallery. And then there's the browser agent. The leak says this will automate tasks using something called Mariner. Now, Mariner is another one of those mystery terms right now, but just the concept of an AI agent surfing the web and automatically completing tasks for you, that is insanely powerful.
Section 4. The community reaction.
Okay, let's take a tiny breather from all the heavy tech breakdowns. Whatever a giant like Google accidentally drops an experimental app, the tech community is just incredibly fast and sharp. The folks over at 9 to 5 Google totally had a field day tearing this thing apart. And I just had to point out this one specific reaction. The top voted comment on the original article was from a user named Andrew, who said, "With the color of the logo, I got my hopes up for some Fusion news for a second." It's pretty funny because the Cosmo app icon has this really distinct pinkish purple color, which is a massive insider nod to Google's super elusive, long-rumored Fuchsia operating system. It just goes to show, even in the middle of a massive AI leak, people are always hunting for that next big Easter egg.
Section 5. The big picture. Looking ahead to I/O 2026.
All right, let's zoom way out and look at the whole picture. What does this accidental app mean for the broader Android ecosystem? You see, Cosmo isn't just a basic chatbot. It asks for incredibly deep system permissions, stuff like setting up voice match and getting full screen access. It wants to see exactly what you're seeing, hear your specific voice, and take action across your entire phone. And the timing is just incredible. Look at this. Yesterday, it mysteriously pops up on the Play Store. Today, it's frantically scrubbed from the internet. But what happens later this month? Google I/O 2026. So the crucial point is that this wasn't just some forgotten weekend project. This was a premature release of a highly advanced testbed that Google's developers are using right now, preparing for their biggest keynote of the year.
Which brings us to the end, and I want to leave you with something to really chew on. Are we witnessing the massive shift from these old-school, cloud-dependent voice assistants to hyper-local, proactive browser agents? Really think about it for a second. We are moving away from yelling commands at a smart speaker that has to ping a server halfway across the country, and we're moving toward a massive, gigabyte-sized AI that lives right inside your pocket. It runs offline. It reads your screen. It remembers your chats, automates your web browser, and schedules your life. So how is a hyperlocal, always-learning AI running seamlessly in the background going to completely upend your everyday phone experience? It is a huge question, and it's one we might just get the official answer to at Google I/O. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes peeled because the future is definitely arriving way faster than we think.